Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about graphs 5 in unit 5. In this lesson, we're going to talk about using Pythagoras theorem to find the distance between 2 points. Now, let's go ahead to the questions so we can understand this more. To find the distance between 2 points, let me show you a question here, and then we will do the steps here. So find the distance between A, which is 8 and 1, and B, which is 2 and 6. First thing we do, we have to cover this. So we can do the steps here. To find the distance between the points, we're going to use Pythagoras theorem. And using Pythagoras theorem, it means you're trying to find the A and the B. By finding the A and the B, you can take them, use them in Pythagoras to find the C. And the C will be the distance between points. I'll explain more here. For example, on the grid here, let's say this is the grid, the X and the Y. These are the 2 points. We have the first point, which is 8 and 1. So 8 on the X and 1 on the Y, like this here. And here we have 2 and 6. So 2 on the X, 6 on the Y, which is here. The distance will be this line, which is connecting the 2 points like this. So basically, you're going to subtract the X's to find this line, and then subtract the Y's to find this line. The first line you're trying to find, we're going to call it A, and the second one, we're going to call it B. So you're going to subtract the X's to find A, subtract the Y's to find B, and then use them in Pythagoras to find C. That's the whole idea of finding the distance. So here, this is X1 and Y1, and then we have X2 and Y2. So the rule says that A will equal, you can use it like this, x1 minus x2, and then B will equal y1 minus y2. Now, after you do this, you'll find A and B. Use them in Pythagoras to find C, which is the distance. First, let's find A. Okay. So x1 minus x2. x1 is 8, x2 is 2. So we're going to say A equals 8 minus 2. So this means that A equals 6. That's the first step, finding A. Now, let me do this here. So A is 6. Now I'm going to do the same step here, y1 minus y2 to find B. So B will equal, B equals y1 minus y2, y1 is 1, minus y2, which is 6. So B will equal 1 minus 6 equals negative 5. Now, second part, which is finding B, is done. So we found A and B. Now we use them in Pythagoras. Pythagoras theorem says what? It says that C squared, which is the height, C squared, equals A squared plus B squared. Let me put the powers. So power of 2, power of 2, power of 2. Now I'm going to use the A that I found from the first step, and B, which is the second step. A is found by subtracting the x's. Y is found by subtracting the y's. Now I'm going to use both of them here to find C. I'm going to follow the same steps I do with Pythagoras. So C squared equals A squared, which is 6 squared. So I'm going to write 6 squared like this. And if I have a negative number, it should be inside brackets. So plus bracket, negative 5, close bracket, squared. Now, if you put the number without brackets, it will give you a wrong answer because it's going to be negative 25. Instead of squaring the whole number, which is negative 5, the calculator will square 5, and then it will give it to you as a negative number. So make sure that you put brackets if you're using negative numbers, or to make sure that you're doing it right, use brackets all the time, even with the positive numbers. This means I can put brackets over here with a 6, here and here. Brackets, brackets. And by that, you make sure that no wrong answers in the final answer. Now, when you square the 6, it's going to be 36. So c squared, let me put it here. I don't have enough space here. So c squared, do this. Okay, let me put this. Okay. C squared equals, so 6 squared is 36. And then plus negative 5 squared is going to be 25. This means that c squared, let's do it here. Let me put a line so you know the difference between places. So 36 plus 25, so c squared equals, let me put it here. Focus on this because we put negative 5 inside brackets. The squaring will give you a positive number. So when you add them, you'll get what? You'll get 61. Now I want to remove the square. It means I'm going to do the opposite of squaring, which is square rooting. Very good. Square rooting like this. So I'm going to square root the 61 to get the final answer, which is the distance between the points. Now, C will equal 61 squared, square rooted. I'm going to use the calculator here. So square root of 61, and the answer is 7.81. 7.810, which is 7.81. And if they want it to one decimal place, it's going to be 7.8. And that's the whole idea of finding the distance between 2 points. So first thing you do, you subtract the x's to find A, and then subtract the y's to find B, and then use the A and the B in Pythagoras. And then at the end of Pythagoras, you're going to square root to find the distance between the 2 points. And that's the idea of the whole question. Now, let me check if we have something else to cover.